Okay, well, been taking a break. I get to these videos when I can, and try to do some weekly vids for you, but it doesn't always work out that way, so bear with me. I've been working on something that's been a little inspired as of late, and I'll probably end up getting back to the Western solo gaming genre pretty soon, because I still want to go over Wheel and Lead, the solo RPG there. But I've been developing something that's, some of you that watch my shorts would remember on my work break I developed something kind of fun. It's kind of the Jet Kwando of RPGs, solo RPGs. Whereas I borrow a little bit from each system, and I give you our 1d6 RPG, the 1d6 RPG, not to be confused with the easy 1d6 RPG that's on Drive-Thru RPG, which I'm sure is an awesome RPG. I'll get around to playing that one too, but this is a 1d6 only RPG. And what's great about it is that you can buy a composition book from the dollar store, and just really you can make it yourself if you're motivated. And what I have here is, I'll show you. I have these Bristolboard cards that I bought a while ago that I haven't really been using, and I figured I cut up some more, with some other Bristolboard because I draw comics and all that. But I'm using these as, and you could use poster board as well at the dollar store, as PC cards. It's got all the stats, saving throws. I'm going to show you how I rolled those up. I came up with a list of names and a backstory, a 1d6 backstory, which you can just roll up and use and make your own. I even got companion cards, so if you get some people, I forgot what the name of it is, where you go and you have people help you out for a price in the early levels. This is going to be stats for them eventually. I got an equipment card. It's got his kit there, adventurer's gear, and yeah. So you just need one or two of these cards and you're good. And you keep them together maybe with a paper clip. And there you go. Alright. So what's great about this is that it simplifies things. I mean, you can play this in the bathroom when you're on the john, basically. Well, let's not go there, but it's pretty incredible. You could play it on the go. You can play it when you're waiting in line, and I'll show you the genius, dare I say, of this. Well, what if I don't have my dice? Well, I'll show you. Inspired straight from Lone Wolf, the 1d6 random number chart. And basically what you do is you close your eyes, use a pencil or your finger or whatever, preferably the eraser part. Close your eyes and you land on a number, and whatever number the eraser mostly takes up is the number. In this case, it's a 3. Now, yeah, you could always try to get over to a 6 or whatever, but I think you're cheating yourself if you do that. So it's something to kind of just randomly do once in a while, if you don't have a D6. But it's easy enough just to carry, a D6 with you. You know, easy enough. And instead of holding, bringing a whole bunch of dice with you, and they're easier. They're just you can access they're easier to access So it's not even that long. I still consider this, it's definitely a beta test. I'm still kind of working out the kinks, but I'll go through the gist of it. And what I have here is, I think that's the first thing I did, is the 1d6 character maker. And you roll 1d6 and assign a number wherever you want. So basically I rolled up 6 stats. And say, okay, I want a fighter, all right? So I want to have, I want him to be fairly strong and high dex, a decent con, okay? So those were the ones I rolled up. Don't pay attention to this. I think some of these are correct, but, yeah. So I didn't drop the lowest or anything. I just kind of rolled them up and I moved them along. You can see his intelligence is 1. So basically these stats, you roll under. Okay, so I believe you have to either roll the number or under to achieve them. Okay, so if I want to do something with my wisdom, figure something out and it's not getting it, my character rolls a 3 under to understand what the puzzle is, what he has to do. Saving throws. In this one I use a saving throw matrix, and I'm just kind of, based on my experience playing the game, I'm just kind of riffing and saying, okay, let's say his magic spell stuff is saving throw 6, so he's got to roll a 6 exactly to make the saving throw, because you want to roll high. So this is more, it's based on more of an old school sensibilities of Advanced Dungeons, Dragons and below, or previous. And then breath weapons 5, death stuff 5. So if it was a wizard or something, his stats might be a little bit higher, and so on and so forth. But this just deals with the fighter, the system right now, as it stands. I haven't come up with like the spells for a wizard and thieving skills or anything like that. This is just kind of like I said, a beta test. And roll for the hit dice using 1d6, or hit points, roll for the hit points, 1d6, plus 1. So if you roll 1, I'll give you a plus 1, just so you got some kind of odds there. And also I have I got the 3 main ones of the saving throw: magic spell stuff, breath weapons, death stuff, other. So that about covers it. And on my further addition, when I make more additions to this, I'll probably just do 1 saving throw, just to be honest, keep things simpler. But there you go. The equipment list. So 1d6 weapons. I really shortened the list to make it simple. Right next to it I put the gold, how much each one costs in gold. But before that, you gotta have some money. So 10 times 3. I rolled a 1d6 times 10. So I rolled a 3, and 10 times 3 is 30. So 30 gold. And I bought, a weapon there. Not too bad. You can get bow and arrow. And then the armor list, 1d6, real simple. Shield, leather, studded leather, chainmail, scale mail, plate mail. Alright. And they all cost accordingly on the left. And adventurer's gear, standard stuff: torches, bedroll, rations, small tent. I didn't include the rope. I should have, but 5 gold pieces. The system basically uses mostly gold and silver pieces. I think I do have copper in there somewhere, but really, to simplify it, pretty much you could just use gold. So the 1d6 RPG shorthand rules here. A 6 always hits. Number 2, exploding 6s on damage only. Number 3, 6 is a crit. Automatically does double damage. 1 is always a miss. 5, armor class, meet or beat each other's target number to hit. Alright, pretty simple. Target number system. 6, number 6, roll 1d6 for your hit points each level. Minding penalties for class. Well, I didn't have any penalties quite yet. And right now I'm using a fighter, you know, so he does the full d6. If I was rolling a wizard, I'd probably do 1d6 minus 2, because it usually hits the lesser hit points as he levels. So any adjustments will be like minusing the 6. So for classes or whatnot. So basically, this is what I rolled up. It's Thoril Silverbane. I'll show you the names list. 1d6 names list. First name, last name. Alright. Pretty easy stuff. Simple. I rolled up his backstory, 1d6. Backstory. Number 1, lost a family member. Number 2, scarred and wants revenge. You know, simple one sentence log lines here. And I can even use a trinket, 1d6 trinket object backstory, so something that the character has that I learned from Geek Gamers, that you can craft a story around it. Number 1, specially crafted leather pouch. Number 2, necklace of some significance, and you can roll on an oracle to figure out what that significance is, or you can just make it up on your own, heaven forbid. Number 3, instrument of significance. Number 4, lucky coin. I did that with Rastan in the Warlock on Firetop Mountain, etc., etc. And a region. This is a regional history, 1d6 world regional history backstory. So 1d6, the kind of place that they're from is 1, a seafaring town full of trade, like a port town. 2, secluded rural area farming, so farm boy. 3, comes from the desert, or the desert plays a part of the regional story. 4, has amnesia, roll for memories. That's kind of a neat one. So you can roll on your oracle table to see what memories come back. And you can piece together a backstory as you play, asking the oracle if you remember anything as you go. 1d6 oracle, so a real simplified oracle here. Number 1, no and. 2, no but. 3, yes but, and etc. And I made a dice out of this somewhere. I got it somewhere around here, so you can use that, but here's a good chart for that. And so again, I got the saving throws on there. Again, I'm probably going to eventually simplify that in the next edition, or just one saving throw. But yeah, it's pretty simple, folks. You don't really need much. I whipped this together on my break. Let's see what else. What else? Made a little 1d6 wandering monster. Okay, now the monster stats I adjusted. Again, I simplified it in my head to, you know, I really, it's all 1d6 stats. So if you're playing solo, obviously 1d6 minus 3, so it's not too overwhelming. It's not, you know, that's an optional rule, but I'd say it's more a medium mode. 1d6 encounters. Roll 1, the wandering monster. 2, terrible weather. 3, a trap. And what I do is, well, here, I'll show you this is the dungeon here. Parts of the dungeon, which I borrowed from 4 Against Darkness. and you can just assemble the dungeon as you go. And at the last room can just be the final boss room with an exit automatically. And so before I go into any of these rooms, I have the character state his intent. And I'll say, okay, he's going to check for traps on that door. And then I'll have him do that, and then I'll roll an encounter. And if it comes up trap, well, he sees the trap. Can he disarm the trap, or can he avoid the trap? You know, and I'll have him roll under his dex score. You know, but as opposed to if I wasn't searching while I went into the door, the trap would go off and he'd automatically take the damage because he wasn't even checking and he didn't even see it. So that's how I deal with that. 1d6 quests. Kidnapped a family member or friend, pretty easy. 2, find a lost relic or treasure. 3, solve a puzzle or problem, yada yada. 2d6, now here's like my mini mythic chart. And it worked so far. I've already played through once and it worked pretty decently. 2d6, you know, obviously when you roll 2d6, you know, you can't get a 1. So, yeah, something to think about. So probably just roll it 1 time, and then roll it again to add something like that. Yeah, because it, you know, that's the flaw in this. Like, well, what if you roll? How can you roll a 1 if you're rolling 2d6? So I just have to kind of think about that a little bit more. I think come up with a system where, you know, you can go probably do either list. I can do this list or that list, 1d6. You know, again, it's still yeah, still in progression here. I'm still kind of working out the kinks. 1d6 treasure, easy enough. 6, you get a gem worth 1d6 gold. Roll again, and on another 6, there's a magic item. And then here's a 1d6 magic items. Magic shield, +1. I kept all the bonuses, the modifications real low. +1, +1. Keep things real simple. 1d6 traps in a chest. 1d6 traps in a door. 1d6 traps in the walls and the floor. And it can always, you can either come up with a trap, like where the trap is in your head, and just go from there, determine whether it's a door or a wall or floor. You can ask the Oracle, is there a chest in the room? And basically, if there's a chest in the room, then you ask if it's trapped, or you check for traps, and you get a yes. Well, these are the kind of traps that are on there. 1d6 dungeon type. Number 1, wet and dank. 2, moldy and smelly. 3, huge stonework, etc., etc. 1d6 detail atmosphere. Number 1, dried blood on the wall. Number 2, not taint. Taint's not something else completely. Faint sounds. A slight draft. Solar cluster. What are you thinking of? A drippage board. Drippage herd. 5, random webbing. Okay. Monster stats. 1d6. Number 1, kobold. Okay, 2 hit points. Real easy. I just came with that number on the fly. Attack 1d6 -1, which is usually, according to the most current monster manual, that's about right with the weapon. Low armor class. They usually got pretty low armor class, 2. So you have to hit 2 or roll a 2 or better to hit it. And bat, 1 hit point. Goblin, about 2 hit points. 1d6. You know, real simplified. I can work out the details later. Skeleton, attacks 1d6. He's got a little bit more hit points. Can be turned. So when I, come up with the cleric class, I'll come up with the rules on turning. Eventually, AC 3. They usually have like a shield or something. 6, jelly, 1d6. 3 hit points, but every time it's hit, it splits into with hit points. I think it would be like 1 hit point each, doing 1d6 minus 3 damage. So it splits up. It's weaker, and it can still do damage to you, but it's reduced. So that's the basics of 1d6 RPG. I came up with some boss. I played it all the way through. I came up with a custom boss. The boss ended up being, I'll show you the map. Basically, I came up with this bad boy, and he ran into a lot of bats, and he met an NPC, and I kind of used my oracle to kind of work out what was going on. And basically, they went in to investigate, and they were kind of not tied up, but one guy was partially frozen to the floor. So I released him, and this guy, and I ran into another one that was affected, and he told me what kind of monster it is, and it's kind of like, it was an undead creature that can use fire and ice projectiles. And I was able to pretty much, I got lucky, I beat it pretty quickly, and I got the treasure, and it worked out. It worked. It was fun. 1d6 monster maker, 1d6 to look, power, potency should be established by dungeon level. You kind of use your best guesstimate how many hit points it should have on the first level. Size, 1d6. I'd probably stick to these for the first level: tiny, small, human sized, or large. Quest 1, this is the first quest I rolled up. Protect the innocent. Yes, and from a monster and boss, its minions. So I rolled a yes and. So protect the innocent, and then the and was from a monster and boss and its minions. Well, the minions in this case were the bats or whatever. Thorol vows to end this monstrosity once and for all, and marches down to the dungeon where it abides. And yeah, I was able to make it happen. Had a decent fun time, and it's very self-contained. And yeah, basically that's all you really need to have a good time. If you're on the go, you don't want to bring a lot of books with you. And you could definitely expand it to 2-player or more if you wanted to. But I'm still working out the kinks, so I'll show you how it plays in the next video. Let me know what you think. And yeah, thanks for watching. Keep solo questing.